excited? Yeah. This is where we're starting. Stop one. It's really close to our hotel. Yeah. There's our hotel right there, huh? It goes right by our hotel.
Personal headphones are connected to your phone while listening to this commentary in another language, so you don't disturb others who may be listening to the driver's commentary. All cruise ship passengers, please take note that the bus does not return to the wharf to drop you off. Instead, you will disembark. We can now see New Zealand's largest university, the University of Auckland. When it opened in 1883, it had all of 4 teachers and 95 students attending class in an old courthouse and jail. Today, the university has 5 campuses and over 40,000 students, and it ranks in the top 100 universities worldwide. The University of Auckland may have the world's cutest university crest. It shows 3. It's named after the English town of Epsom, famous for thoroughbred races at Epsom Downs. Cows outnumbered horses here in the mid-1800s when European settlers built dairy farms in Epsom. Later came the Chinese settlers who raised and grew fruit and vegetables. Nowadays, the trees lining Epsom Street still give it a feel of a country town. We call this a leafy suburb, a polite way of saying most of us couldn't afford to live here. The largest kauri in New Zealand is called Ane Mahuta, the Lord of the Forest, found in Northland's Waipoua Forest. He's over 2,000 years old and more than 50 metres tall, a true giant, and seen as a living ancestor in Māori tradition. Kauri trees are protected from logging operations today, but they're threatened by a fungus-like disease called kauri dieback. Once they're infected, it's to your safety, passengers must remain seated whenever the bus is in motion, when the bus is stopped at traffic lights, and in stationary traffic. If you are travelling aboard one of our open-top buses, please ensure your hands, arms and head remain inside the bus at all times. Thank you. Our next stop of my favourite memories happened where we're headed next, the Auckland Domain. The site was known as Pukekawa by Māori before being gifted to the new town, Auckland. In 1845, the park became known as Auckland Domain. Around the museum to our next stop. Along the way, you might notice the odd shape of the landscape. The hill the museum is on, and then there's what looks like a bowl with gently sloping sides. That's because we're driving through the crater on top of an extinct volcano. Here's where early Māori built a fortified village called a pā, as they did on many of our volcanoes. Auckland Domain used to be a place where Māori claimed for protection. Now everyone comes here for recreation, entertainment, enlightenment, and sheer fun. In front of the Auckland War Memorial Museum stands a memorial to New Zealand soldiers who have lost their lives in war. Inside the museum, you can learn about New Zealand's military history, see the world's leading collection of exhibits about Pacific culture, including an authentic Māori waka or wokanu and an ancestral meeting house. Take a close-up look at our unique natural history, including flightless birds like the giant moa, an extinct species that stood up to 3 metres or almost 10 feet tall. Experience the terror in Auckland today if one of our volcanoes erupted again, or trace the evolution of New Zealand design and decorative arts. There's even a heartwarming history of childhood in this country, and an interactive touchable gallery just for the kids. Impressive Mount Eden Prison. This historic site was built in 1882 using volcanic stone quarried from nearby cones. For over a century, it housed some of New Zealand's most notorious prisoners, before closing in 2011. The prison's striking fortress-like architecture is a reminder of Auckland's colonial past and the evolution of the justice system. viewing platform. It was actually built with the help of an elephant named Tom. Tom the elephant belonged to Prince Alfred, the Duke of Edinburgh, who picked him up on a visit to Nepal in the 1870s. The two continued on to Auckland, where Tom obligingly hauled freshly quarried stone for the viewing platform to the summit of Mount Eden. He accepted no payment beyond a steady supply of sweets and beer.
Dann fahren wir die gleiche Strecke nochmal. Ich weiß nicht, was wir zu deiner Zeit sind. Ist egal. Wir fahren jetzt zur Mission Bay. Da warst du auch schon mal. Ja, kannst du machen. Also.
Was sagen die auch? Wetter? Weiterfahren erstmal?
Trainer hat's trainiert.
Ja, dann drehen wir erstmal eine komplette Runde.
Ah, guck mal, wir fahren sogar noch weiter nach oben.
Du musstest noch laufen, oder was?
Nö, wir sind im Auto hochgefahren. Bei Michel.
This stop, Mumblefo, Mount Eden. The summit is closed to vehicles, but you can walk from the bus stop. The trail is about 300 metres or 984 feet long. Takes about 10 minutes in each direction. Wear comfortable shoes and take along water, a hat and protective clothes in case of rain. This relatively steep climb requires a moderate level of fitness, and be aware that there's no shelter or other facilities at the top. Mount Eden, this stop.
Ja.
Ja, men jeg skal se. Jeg fikk ikke...
Kiwis share an obsession with our national sport, rugby union. In case you didn't know, that's different to rugby league, which also has its fans. But we worship our rugby union team, the All Blacks. They're the most successful international rugby team of all time, and the first team to win the Rugby World Cup 3 times. New Zealand sports fans are also proud, placed on rollers and moved across the street. Yes, the whole building, so it would sit behind Holy Trinity. That was quite the spectacle to see. It's well worth your time to explore the warm, inviting interior of St Mary's, which is planes used to land on the water. In 1939, Tasman Empire Airways Limited, or TEAL, began regular passenger and freight services using seaplanes or flying boats, meaning planes that could take off from and land on the water harbour. You can still take seaplane tours for the most thrilling views of New Zealand from sky and sea. Auckland's nickname is the City of Sails. You'll probably see why as you scan the water around us. It's often crowded with sailboats jockeying for space, with motorboats, yachts, and in stationary traffic. If you are travelling aboard one of our open-top buses, please ensure your hands, arms and head remain inside the bus at all times. Thank you. A replica of the 1911 wooden hut that sheltered a team of Antarctic explorers led by Captain Robert Falcon Scott. You'll experience firsthand the cramped quarters filled with scientific specimens and photographs collected by one of the first land explorations of Antarctica. Nearby, you'll find some of Antarctica.